All right, welcome back to another edition of Forgotten Variants. This is the video series that I do as part of Forgotten Fridays, where I talk about those variants that you may not be aware of, or you may have missed, or you just didn't know about, or just, like I said, forgotten, hence the name. As I said, Forgotten Fridays. I either do Forgotten Firsts, Forgotten Variants, or Forgotten Later Printings, depending on my mood and what books I feel like talking about that week. So this week, I decided to take a break from Forgotten First and do Forgotten Variants once again, since I created that Run for Cover show to do those theme variants. This I might do more of maybe some covers for titles like multiple issues, but not like necessarily a theme. But we'll get more into that as we get into these books. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as all the other content here on the channel. Let me know in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Check out the merch and the links down below if you're interested. And if you want to see what books and variants I'm going to be talking about this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I'll be right back. All right, so as I teased there in the open, I'm not going to be doing the theme runs of variants like I was doing here on this series any longer. I created a whole new series, Run for Covers, so I can do that and talk about things like the Iron Man by Designs, Tron covers, Lego, whatever it might be, whatever theme run of covers we can do over on that video series. This one, it will just be some random variants that I find interesting, or I just look at like a titles like run of issues. So I'm going to pick two comics and basically go through the incentive variants that were available for that series, a short series, or just a little stretch. Hopefully you like that kind of angle that I'm going to take on this, and we're going to start in with our very first title, which I'm only got a couple of books for this one because they didn't do a lot of incentives. And this is Avengers Children's Crusade. This is that 9-issue mini that had Young Avengers and then Wanda. It is a pretty cool run. And surprisingly, issue 1 didn't have like a incentive variant. There was like a second print variant, which is very, very pricey, but no incentive variant for us to talk about. But there was an incentive for issue 2, which is what our first book is going to be. And this is a pretty cool cover. I did pick this up at a shop. I just happened upon it. I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. Cool Wanda cover. I love the space and the flowiness with the, it's almost like her cape, but it isn't. Awesome cover. Awesome cover. The regular cover for this one, taking the recommendation of Ronan Khan, who said that, hey, it would be nice to see the regular cover. So you know what? I'm just going to share the other covers for these issues as well, so you know what issue we're talking about. So right here, this is the regular issue, a regular cover for issue 2, which is also a pretty cool cover with Wolverine there. But the incentive variant is this Wanda. Again, it's September 2010. Travis Charest is the artist, a 1 in 25 incentive on this one. So if you do that math based on the print run, we're talking about just over 1,400 copies for this particular cover for this issue. Again, I like it. A lot of white, a lot of black, so it's going to be kind of tough to get in high grade for those two reasons. It could be dirty, could be ticked up. Just something to keep in mind. Now, if you want to see what's out there for this cover, if you're curious what's available out there right now, this book is about 35 to 50 bucks. It is not super cheap, but double ratio isn't terrible for a book that's 11 years old. For a smaller, it's a mini after all, and 1,400 copies isn't a huge print run, so yeah, good luck finding one. Not saying it's impossible, and otherwise this would be on the ghost list, but it's not. So it's not impossible to find, but could be tough. And those prices aren't awful. I mean, if you want it, then that's up to you whether you want to pay those prices. And if you want to see what other people are paying for this book, well, 30 bucks best offer. So they actually took $24. So somebody did buy one recently on October 29th, and they paid 24 bucks. So there you go, to give you kind of a range of what somebody paid and what the asking prices are. So you can make that call if you are that interested in this Travis Charest cover. I kind of like it personally, and like I said, I picked one up, so I have one. I think I found it in the shop for 10 or 15 bucks. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely under ratio, which is why I grabbed it. I'm a cheap hunter after all. I look for the cheap books most of the time, and if I pay a lot, I tell you when I pay a lot. So moving on to our next book. The next issue in this series is the only other one that had an incentive, and this was a 1 in 15. This Art Adams for issue 3. I also like this one too. It's pretty cool. I do not have this one. The regular cover, if you're curious, it is right here. Again, Wanda, and the Young Avengers, the boys. And yeah, so 1 in 15, November of 2010. So it was a 2-month gap between issue 2 and 3. And this is only a 1 in 15. So the ratio was lower, which means there are actually more copies of this one. There's over 2,300 copies potentially for this Art Adams cover. But yet this one is in more demand than the Travis Cherished, which we're going to get to in a second when we look at the actual asking prices here. What's out there in the market? $95 for a raw, and then $250 for a 9/8 are the asking prices. So you can see, even though the ratio is lower and there's more copies, this cover is more desired. So the asking price is a little bit higher. It's double. It's double what the other one was. And if you're curious of what this actually sells for, well, it's not that far off. The raw is $60, and somebody did pay $250 for a 9/8. So that seems to be the market for this book currently, if you were so interested. Like I said, I like it. I don't have it. I don't know if I'm buying it at that price, but we'll see if I stumble across one of these in my travels one of these days. I kind of hope so. So since we're talking Wanda, I felt like it was just a natural connection to let's do Vision. So I'm going to do the incentive variants for the Vision run next. And hopefully you find that that interesting. We'll do WandaVision, basically. Should have done this a couple of months ago. But with issue 1 of Vision, the one I'm going to focus in on is this Marcos Martin one. I don't know why. I could have picked the 1 in 25, but I decided to go with this one. I like it. It's pretty cool. Something about the old school, kind of like logo there that they're going with. It's like a phasing in, phasing out. I kind of like it. Very simple, stark background. Kind of dig it. But if you're curious what we're talking about the Vision, the 12-issue series by Tom King. This was the regular cover for issue 1. That's also heated up out there, and there are multiple covers for this book. So you have the cover A, basically. There's a hip-hop variant, which also does pretty well out there. So you got the hip-hop cover as well. And then, as I mentioned, there is the 1 in 25, which is this one. Also pretty cool, but Vision is so far off in the background. He kind of gets lost in it, but I still kind of like it. But out of all of them, I still kind of like the Martin the best, which is why I'm just going to focus on this one. So November 2015, this Marcos Martin was a 1 in 20. So the highest ratio was the 1 in 25, but this is a 1 in 20. Why they did them so close together, I have no idea. But this would give us about 2,100 copies of this book, potentially, when you do the math of the full print run, the 1 in 20, and all the, the whole rigmarole by now of what I'm doing here. So about 2,100 copies for this Marcos Martin is, not a ton, but it's not like a tiny number either. So they're out there. I haven't seen it though, so I'm on the lookout for one. I kind of like it. And if you are on the lookout for one, well, it's kind of expensive. It's $60 to $150 right now, and even that $60 one is from the UK with $30 shipping. So that's basically $1 to $150 is what people are asking for this book right now on the market. I can't be buying it at that price, even though I do like this cover personally. And if you want to see what actually sold, just to get an idea of the market there, well, $23.50 on a raw, which ain't too bad. I'm in on that price. Like I can pay that even with the shipping. And then there's a 9/8 that sold $500 asking price, best offer accepted at $300. So yeah, not too bad. I'm not really shopping for slabs that way. I prefer to slab my own books rather than buy slabs and just take a shot. But that's just how I do things. Again, I'm kind of cheap, so I play things on the cheaper end. And usually buying a slab is much more expensive than just taking a shot in a raw. Granted, you're not always going to pay out that way, but yeah, it's worth the gamble to me. So that was issue 1, which is going to take us to issue 2 of this series, which also had some incentives. I'm going to focus in on here, on this cover, the Dale Keown, because this one actually heated up quite a bit, especially with WandaVision. Once the first time we saw that white Vision, everybody flocked to this cover. And was West Coast Avengers 47 or whatever issue it is, with the stark white Vision. That was the cover, but that's the main cover. If you want to see the cover A, we're talking about the mailbox one. So this is the cover A for issue 2. And the Dale Keown is a 1 in 20, but there was a 1 in 25, which is this, I think is the Tula Lotte cover with Vision Dad just kind of chilling there with his coffee, reading the paper. It's not an awful cover, but I prefer, again, the Keown, which is why I'm covering this one. So Dale Keown, December 2015. This is a 1 in 20. About 1,800 copies of this, if you're curious. And if you wanted to go shopping for one of these right now, well, as I said, this heated up for a little bit, so the prices are going to be on the higher end, like the last one. $85 to $180. Actually, I think I saw a $200 ask too, but I saw a couple in the $180 range, so I felt like just stick with that range. So 85 to 180 on this is pretty expensive. I like it. I love the purple with the white. It's the whole color play. I dig it, but again, it's a little steep. A little steep. But if you want to check the actual market, well, unfortunately, none have sold in the last 3 months that I could find on eBay. So there's no market that I could kind of give you a frame of reference for. So it is what it is. Which is going to take us to issue 3. And that's issue 2, so we're going to do issue 3. And there is a 1 in 25, and I did find this at a shop, and it wasn't too bad. It was under ratio. This is a Christian Ward cover. The yellow just caught my eye, like, immediately when I was flipping through a box. Because it was in a long box. I was like, oh, what is this? And I had to stop. And regular cover on this one, in case you're curious, is Grim Reaper getting swept under the rug there. Pretty cool, pretty fun. But the 1 in 25 here is the variant that we're talking about for our purposes here. Again, Christian Ward, January 2016, just under 1,400 copies on this one. So the print run's starting to go down a little bit as the series is going on, as you can see. Again, I kind of dig it. He's kind of floating up out of his suit, but it's really that yellow. That yellow really pops and makes Vision pop too. And if you want to see what's available on this one, it's actually not that bad when we look at the prices of the last two. It's 33 to 48. So I'm not saying it's cheap, but compared to the $100 to $180 asks we just had, 30 to 48 bucks seems a lot more palatable. And if you want to check the market on this one, well, unfortunately, also none sold on this. Not a lot of people looking at the Vision books these days, I guess. With WandaVision over, people have kind of moved on, even though, Vision's not completely gone. So who knows? Who knows when we'll see him popping up again. But that said, we're going to go back into the pricier range with our next book, because I do dig this cover, but this one's a little tough. Issue 4, Michael Cho. There was a whole run of these covers. I might do these on Run for Covers one of these days. I have it on my list of to do. I have a couple of them. I do like them. Just kind of like a propaganda kind of vibe with the posterized, very simple colors, like just a couple of colors on these, like 3-color style. I don't know. I dig them. But this particular one is on issue 4, which you can see there is a regular cover here with the kids, kids in school, almost like a lineup. And then we have this, which is a 1 in 20. Again, like I said, by Michael Cho, February 2016. Under 1,000 copies of this one. Just print run, severely dropped. So once we got to 4, because again, I think the way timing goes is as far as pre-ordering goes for shops, like it's about 3 months out. So they usually have the first 3 issues ordered before they actually get issue 1 on the shelves to see what the audience wants and likes. So issue 4 is a huge drop off as far as print numbers go, as you can see, because I'm sure a lot of people weren't banking on Vision being a hit, even though it was a critical success, and a lot of people did start looking for it later. But I think it's because the print run was not there for the demand for the actual readers. But 953 estimated copies makes this the toughest one so far on the list. And if you want to see what's available for this, well, it is out there, but again, it's on the pricier side. We're back into that $85 to $200 range. So $100 to $200 for a raw of this book is no small ask. It's a nice chunk of change there. And if you want to see what this thing sells for, well, we do have one that sold at auction for $41 just on October 23rd. So not that long ago, 7 bids, 41 bucks. Ain't bad. I would have considered it, but even that is still getting out of my comfort level for most variants. I get it. Like this one sells for a lot more, and if you got it for 41, we'll try to sell it for 2. But I'm not talking about flipping the book. I'm talking about what I would put my money into for myself as a collector. And when we start getting over 41, it's getting a little uneasy for me because we're already over double ratio. And do I want it that badly? Well, there's so many other books out there. You got to make those decisions. You can't have everything. But that being said, that was issue 4, which I think is going to take us to our last one for today in this run of Visions. Because again, I'm just trying to focus in on the incentive covers. Otherwise, we'd be here forever. Because there were a couple other variants along the way, a lot of like theme month type of deals. But our last one is going to be another Dale Keown on issue 8. Kind of a classic pose, superhero pose, flying right at you. Issue 8. There was a couple of covers on this, but this was June 2016. This is a 1 in 15, so it's also on the lower end as far as ratio goes, so easier to attain. And so this was the regular cover for 8. and there were about 1,500 copies, just to throw that out there as well. Just under 1,500 copies of this one. You had the regular issue as well as the Story Thus Far variant. Marvel at this time was doing those Story Thus Far, where they were trying to catch you up by demonstrating like what happened in the story almost in a poster way on the covers. Here it's a little bit trickier, a little more abstract than a lot of the others Story Thus Fars, but these are sneaky hard to find for all of the titles that had these. Just throwing that out there. Like this one, it seems a little bit on the easier way to find. Just print runs again, bounce back up for issue 8, but a lot of the Story Thus Far covers can be tough. Just go ahead, take a look out there at the market. Maybe we'll have to cover that in one of these series one of these days. Just kind of talk about that because there are a couple of them that get a little pricey because I'm not even sure what stores needed to do to obtain these. I don't believe these were open order. These might have been qualifying orders. Like, you can order as many you want of this Vision book, but you have to order 120% of your Uncanny for that month. They would throw out these weird qualifying things for shops that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And this is what I hear. I don't have a Diamond account. I'm not a retailer in that way. I don't know. I just know what I've been told. And that's kind of what I hear about these qualifying variances, that sometimes it's just kind of crazy and makes no sense. And a lot of shops can't keep up with that just to get these extra variants. So they don't. And even when they do, it's like, how many more of these are they going to order? They already had cover A that they're ordering. Do we need more cover? Like, how many different covers do you really need a shop to buy? Especially when they start mixing in the action figure variants and the, it's Venom month. And you go to Venom. It can get crazy. Sorry to go down the rabbit hole there for a little bit. But Story Thus Far, some of them are tough. Just again, that's my little PSA for you. So let's get back to our last book. Again, 1 in 15 for issue 8. This Dale Keown cover. Pretty cool. Superhero action pose. 13 to 20 bucks. This one is affordable. This one is right in that range of ratio and maybe a tiny bit more. So 15 to 20 bucks, really. You can bring this 1 in 15 home if you wanted to go shopping for one. And if you want to see what this thing sells for, well, a couple sold. A 9.6 actually sold at a best offer on $24. Oops, sorry. A 9.6 actually sold, best offer for $24, and then you can see above that there was a lot of issues 8 through 12, basically, including the 1 in 25 variant, including the Story Thus Far variant, as I just mentioned. 35 bucks on that lot of books. So yeah, just to give you kind of an idea, it's definitely affordable and one that you could pick up if you were that interested. So that's what I got this week. This is kind of what I envisioned this series more to be, where I would just do like a title and kind of cover the variants of that run, as long as there weren't too many. We'll just do chunks and just kind of go over them and check them out, look at them, because a lot of these are covers I had not seen before because my shop doesn't order and get all the incentives, or sometimes the incentives are gone before I get there. I don't look at every title to see every variant that's coming out every week, especially over the last decade, So a lot of these are new to my eyes. So hopefully you find it interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again for stopping by and checking in on the series. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you want to see more of this. If you do, let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions of runs that you want covered, tell me about a couple. And I'm like, okay, we'll take a look at those. If you want to know more, I might want to know more. So just let me know. And like I said, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. I can keep giving more stuff away. Check out the merch if you're interested. And yeah, I suppose that'll do us for this week. And I will see you soon with some more content.